and welcome everyone to another edition of Masonic Light Talk. I'm your host, Past Master Rod Funderburk of Bivouac Lodge number 503, and we are hailing from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and are part of the 30th District, where our Worshipful Master is Dejuan A. Muhammad, and our District Deputy is Terry Andrews, and of course, our fearless leader of the North Carolina jurisdiction is our most worshipful Grand Master, Daniel D.T. Thompson. And as we always like to say at the beginning, the true purpose of Masonic Light Talk is to give the craft a chance to see the folks who are behind the various titles within Masonry, and also to allow you to know that we're all just regular people. Nothing's extra special with us. We have regular lives. We have the experience the good, we've experienced the bad as well as the ugly. And we also want to be clear. When you hear people ask what Masons are all about, what Masons are all about is we're here to make good men better. And I'm just going to leave it at that. And for those of you who are beginning to follow us and be with us, we have been including all the houses within the North Carolina jurisdiction. So please, at any time, if there's someone or a certain title or house that you would like to see and want to know more about, please let us know. And family, just as we are learning, about the Masons and the positions, today we have a great opportunity to look at our sisters, the women who are in lead positions, the women who make us as Masons much better men as well. And today we have two special guests. First, we have a special guest host who will introduce and interview our guests for today's show. And of course, it is my pleasure to introduce the guest host. She is a member and past matron of Bivouac chapter number 530, where she has done so much work and she has just transformed things within Bivouac 530 and just this 30th district in general. And it is with honor that I introduce someone who has also been very important to Bivouac Lodge number 503. In the midst or before this pandemic, this sister has always been available to us. We have a motorcycle charity ride every year, and she has always been available to us. She said, whatever I can do, you let me know what it is. And each of the 6 years, she has shown up in full force and again has made us better. And she is also the wife of one of our Bivouac members who was past Master Cassius Smith. And of course, it is with great honor that I introduce past matron, Sister Lisa Smith. Sister Smith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, past Master Funderburk. Thank you so much for those wonderful words. And I love the Brothers of Bivouac Lodge, and there is nothing that I would not do for the Brothers of Bivouac Lodge. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And all the thanks go to you because you have taken the lead on things that we wanted to do. And you said, I'll jump in and do it. And I just want to thank you for all that you do for Bivouac as well as the 30th District. And of course, I'm not going to hold the show up any longer. Sister Smith, I am going to turn things over to you so that you may introduce today's special guest in your own way. Sister Smith.
Thank you. And thank you to the Brothers of Bivouac Lodge number 503 for sharing this space with us and giving us this opportunity. But like Brother Funderburk has said, I have the extreme honor to have as this edition's special guest, our esteemed sister, the 24th Grand Worthy Matron, Mary R. McGee of the Grand Chapter of the Order of Eastern Star, right of adoption for the state of North Carolina, an affiliate of the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons of North Carolina and Jurisdiction Incorporated. Grand Matron McGee, welcome and thank you for being on the show today. Although it's late, happy belated Valentine's Day again. And to get things started, let's tell the viewers a little bit about who is Mary R. McGee, the person behind the title of the Grand Worthy Matrons, give them a little background, a little bit about who you are, where you're born, where you're from, and all of that. Who is the person behind the title?
Thank you, Sister Past Matron, Sister Smith. It's an honor. And first of all, I'd like to give honor to our Lord and Savior, recognize our most wishful Grand Master, and our grandworthy patron for the state of North Carolina, and all my sisters and brothers. And I give honor to this lodge. Oh, what a blessing it is that you try to keep all of us introduced to the people of the jurisdiction. This afternoon, I'm just going to tell you just a little bit about myself. I'm the baby girl of 12 siblings, and I grew up in a Masonic family. My father was probably one of the hardest working Masons around in the city of Granville County, Oxford, North Carolina. My mother was an Eastern Star. All of my brothers were Masons. I have one brother still alive out of all of the 12 siblings. Only one is left alive, but he is still functioning as a Mason and really, really doing a great job being the minister of Hawk River Baptist Church. I'm married to past grand patron, T.L.C. McGee. We've been married over 54 years. Woo, that's a long time. We were high school sweethearts. So we have maintained this marriage, and we are the proud parents of one son, two daughters, four grandsons, one granddaughter, and one great-grandson. And when we graduated from high school, we graduated together. We were in the same class. So I graduated second in the class, and he graduated fourth in the class. My educational background, I attended quite a few colleges. Once I went to work at Murdoch Center, which is a state facility, I worked there for 32 years. I attended every seminar, every class that was available. But I did take quite a few studies on the Southeastern Business College, Durham Tech, Vance Granville, and quite a few other colleges. But the thing that prepared me in life was my work at Murdoch Center. I worked with deaf-blind. I even wrote a couple of books while I was there, and they are still being used. I taught a self-defense course all over the state of North Carolina. But after I retired with 32 years, I went back and worked 18 more years to try to keep everything going. And finally, I was awarded the Murdoch Center Employee of the Year out of 1,600 employees, and the Secretary Award for Excellency. That's kind of me.
Wow. Quite accomplished there, Grandworthy Matron. I must say, I had no idea that you had such a vast background and so much technical training there.
Yes.
And since we've been in this pandemic and with COVID, can you tell us a little bit how the Grand Chapter has adjusted within this pandemic and the COVID response and everything? Can you share a little bit about that and how the Grand Chapter has adjusted?
Yes, it hasn't been an easy adjustment. This adjustment comes with a lot of prayer and knowing that this is a season that we have no control over. We have followed all of the directives of Governor Cooper. On March the 21st, we closed our face-to-face chapter meeting. As of today, our face-to-face meetings are still closed. However, our members are able to stay in contact with each other by phone, text, conference, emails, and Zoom. I often think about if this pandemic had come around when I was born, we wouldn't have all this technology to stay in contact, because my parents had to ride from house to house for people to know what was going on. So we do have all of this text stuff going on, and a lot of people having difficulty with even using that. But I do thank God for allowing us to have that ability. We have to have something to keep us going. We still have a lot of adjustment to do, but we are learning. And that's the number one thing we have to learn during this pandemic, is to be patient and work as a team to keep our grand chapter together, and to continue to encourage each other. Instead of thinking about what we can do to hinder, let's think about what we can do to continue to encourage each other.
And speaking about encouragement, now, have you had your vaccine, and what can you say if you've had your vaccine to anyone who is thinking about not having the vaccine? What can you say to anyone who's thinking about not doing so?
I don't want anyone to think that my encouragement is telling them that they have to take it. But I often go back and I think about when we were a child, when the measles epidemic came out and some of the other epidemics came out, our parents rushed to get us those shots so that we would be able to survive. And I do feel like these shots that we need to have now for this COVID, we definitely need to take them. I have taken both my shots. I feel good. And I feel even better when I go to the grocery store now. Even though I'm still following all of the rules. That's all I do. I encourage you to think about how this could help you to be able to survive this pandemic. This pandemic has taken so many people away from here, but we also have been careless with a lot of our action. So let's stay within the guidelines and try to follow the rules.
Thank you. I know that you said earlier that you had Masonic people in your family. So can you share a little bit about the positions that you've held that kind of led you through the ranks to get you to where you are today?
Yes. My husband and I, first of all, started off as a team. Once I went in as a member of Queen Esther chapter number 536, I was taught, and I was actually taken on and led around by the other officers so that make sure that I could learn and find out what the Order Eastern Star was about. So I am just excited to be a part of the Order Eastern Star in Queen Esther chapter number 536. I became the worthy matron after maybe about 3 years of being in there. And when I became the worthy matron, my husband became the worthy patron. So we served as worthy matron and worthy patron together. Then under Marion Coverton, we finally was placed in what we call an educational position. We were district lecturers. So we traveled that road together. And then when he became Grand Worthy Patron, by the time he became Grand Worthy Patron, I had been the deputy for 9 years. I had been the dean for 6 years. And then later on, I got online. And once I got online, what they call online, which we have never had a line, but we had it in our mind, it was a line. Once I got online, I became the associate conductress, and each one of those positions required that you stay there 3 years, and we did. I went through associate conductress to conductress, from conductress to grand associate matron, and from grand associate matron to the 24th grand worthy matron, where I am right now. And I have really traveled this road, and I feel like I have a knowledge when it comes to the rights and the educational part of the Order of Eastern Star. I have that knowledge. Sometimes, you know, it changes a little bit, but it's okay. You learn. Anybody been through as many different leaders as I've been through, you learn to adapt. It's not an easy road, but that's the road that brought me to where I am now, and I still love it.
That's good to hear. So what advice could you give to anyone that's wanting to serve in a leadership role?
Anyone who really want to be in a leadership role, the first thing you have to do is you have to remember to give up self. You cannot think about yourself. When you get into a leadership role, you have people that's looking to you to give you all of the answers, whether you know them or not. And you have to find people that you can go to make sure you got the correct answers. Every now and then you blunder, bloop, and stumble, but you just can't give up because of these blunders and bloopers that may happen. You continue to seek knowledge, continue to be around people that can help your leadership grow. A leader is no better than the followers. If you don't have good people around you to help you to lead, then you already messed up. So that's what sometimes you have to give up some of those friends, that so-called friends that they call themselves as being your friend. And really remember that leadership is guidance. You have to guide others. And in doing guidance, you got to, first of all, seek the word of God to keep you guiding them in the right way. I'm a firm believer. If God had not been on my side during all this pandemic and all of that, I would be a messed up person. But I'm a very Christian woman. I really want my life to be a servant to God. And the only way I can be a servant to God is to be a servant to his people and continue to work hard to keep his people going in the right direction.
That's good advice. Very good advice. So what would you say that you like best about being a member of the Order of Eastern Star?
I really do like this organization. Our herons, I can quote you word for word what some of our herons have done. Being based on a religious basis, I just love it because they guide me. Whenever I feel like I don't know which way to go, I go back into my Bible and read more about their stories. The herons are the things that keep me very much a part of this Eastern Star. And I love working with people. I'm a teacher. I was a born teacher, even though I didn't get my degree in teaching. My mama said I used to line the dogs up on the porch and make them listen to me. That was fun. But I am a teacher and I do study my ritual. And I know what that ritual says. And the ritual tells us that to be good servants, we have to give up self, and we have to look out for others. And that's my number one thing, is just like Ruth. If Ruth in the Bible can look out for her mother-in-law, why can't I look out for some of my people? That's what keeps me going. And I have made up my mind that the COVID-19 and nothing else will stop me from being in this order, because I know that I was not put here by my own action. I do believe whatever happens in your life is what God has in store for you. And that's it. I love it. I love working with the community. I love working with the homeless. I just love working in this order.
Amen to that. Now, I know that the Order of Eastern Star has a youth program. Can you share a little bit about the Gleaner Youth Program that the Order of Eastern Star has for the young ladies?
So, our youth program is really going well. we have some of the greatest leaders there is. And they, right today, they have tried to figure out what are they going to do with the youth for us more as the coming year. Will they be able to have their session? And they have looked into different areas of having their session. And right now, they can't get anyone who says they will house them. So everything right now is being set up virtually for our youth. But our youth are very important to us. Nothing they ask for, as long as it's within reason, will we not try to provide to them. We did give scholarships. We gave 19 scholarships, and I'm hoping this year we will be able to give more. But our youth, as they grow in our youth department, they are preparing to come on in and be a part of us when they reach the age of 18. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about having great leaders in that department, even on the men's side, because they do things jointly with the brothers, with the KOPs. We even have a database set up for them. We have like I say, I'm gonna stop. Anything they want or need, they know that all they have to do is ask and make sure that the reason makes sense.
Okay, for those listeners and viewers that we have that are not a part of the order, just share a little bit how that they can get involved. And for those who are not, again, affiliated with us, so they'll know what the KOPs are. So how can they get their children involved? Just tell them what the KOPs are and how they can get their children involved with the Knights and Gleaners.
Okay, the Knights of Pythagoras and our Gleaners, the way you can easily get your children involved is to just seek someone who's a member of the order and ask them. And if you do not know them, our youth are in the community, and a lot of our youth bring in other youth. So they do work and things in the community to bring notice to them. But all you have to do is ask for an application. Any youth 8 years old or above can join our Gleaners. And they stay with the Gleaners until they reach the age of 18. And they are taught all different types of activities. And they also are able to listen to some of the college professors. We bring in different people to speak on different topics, but the main thing is all you have to do is ask, and we will see that you get an application for your daughter or your son.
Thank you. And what would you say to any of the brothers who are looking to join the Order of the Eastern Star?
Our brothers, I want you all to join. We need you. And we need to treat you really good, because our right of adoption came from you. So that means that we are your children, really. And we need you to help us to survive. We thank you for joining us, but don't leave us after you join us. And just remember that we are working together and we need that advice from our brothers. So please come on in. We promise to be good to you.
Thank you. Now, I know that you are planning diligently for a joint session coming up in September. Would you like to say anything about that?
Right now, we are in the planning stage, but we do have the rooms open, and all of that information has gone out. We are planning to have a joint souvenir journal. So please start saving your money so that you can buy an ad in the souvenir journal. A lot of things will be separate because they have their meetings and we have our meetings to attend, but a lot will come together. And we are hoping that since this is our first joint session, that it really be a success. So please make sure that once we send out the directions for as more as registration and all, you do your registration so that you can be a part of history in the making.
Wonderful. I know you addressed the OES license plate during the town hall meeting on yesterday. Do you want to say anything else about that today for anyone that may not have been a part of the town hall on yesterday?
The whole thing about the license tag was that a lot of the office had closed and they had not made any more OES tags. But now they have a supply in stock. All you have to do is go online and put in for a license tag or go to the Department of Motor Vehicle. You should not have any problems in getting a license tag. But if you do, and the problem really get to be serious, give me a call and I'll see that our representative, Iris William, get the call so that she can help you out. But right now, it should not be any problem. Go there and get your license tag, please.
Okay, also on the town hall on yesterday, I know that you talked quite a bit about the Constitution and bylaws. Is there anything else you'd like to share about the Constitution and bylaws today that you didn't get to share on yesterday? Or anything you'd like to add to that for anyone that may have missed the town hall yesterday?
The Constitution, let's talk about that first. The Constitution was signed on December the 13th by our most wishful Grand Master. It is finished, and I just encourage people to read it because there were some changes made. Our yearly, the way we do now will be a calendar year instead of from 1 month to the next month of the next year. So we are on a calendar year starting in January. And the bylaws have been signed and they are there. They don't have to go through no other procedure. Our most wishful Grand Master have signed them. But the bylaws could not be signed until we as the Constitutional Committee got the information to the Grand Master. He didn't come up with all of the things that's supposed to be in the bylaws. The committee worked on all of that. So the bylaws are signed, the Constitution is signed. The bylaws are still not waiting on the Grand Master. The Grand Master is waiting on us to complete the bylaws so that he can sign those. And we are working hard to get those completed. Constitution is ready, but the bylaws have not been signed yet due to the bylaws committee.
Okay, and can you share how were members supposed to receive the Constitution? For those who didn't hear that on yesterday.
How they supposed to receive it?
Yes, ma'am.
The Constitution Committee, this Grand Secretary is the co-chairperson. She has sent that Constitution out to every deputy and every special deputy. And they also have sent it out through by our other person, Vanessa Powell. These deputies send this to every chapter that they have in their district. Then the matron's supposed to see that every member get a copy of those bylaws. And the bylaws are sent electronic, but if you have some members that do not receive stuff by electronic, then you're gonna have to run that off and get it to them. But it is the chapter responsibility that every member in the chapter get a copy of it. And it's the deputy's responsibility to see that the chapters get it.
Okay, thank you, Worthy Matron. And as we're getting close to wrapping this up, can you share what your vision is for the Grand Chapter?
Yes. Well, I had quite a few visions set up, but the main one that as your 24th Grand Worthy Matron include the implementation of to reclaim and retain our membership. We have a membership that grows when we do open season. And then less than a couple of months, it starts back decreasing. So the main thing is trying to figure out how we can keep our membership growing. When I first came in office and I was told that they are just not attending the meetings, we just don't know what to do. So the first thing I did was try to think of what could we do real quick to try to get members back interested in their chapter. So I did a dress down, which no other grand matron would do. Come as you are. The main thing is, I want you in that chapter room in your meeting. And some of the chapters sent me back a message saying, I didn't even know so-and-so was a member. I'd seen the name on the roll, but people were coming to the meeting, and then the pandemic hit. But we weren't going to stay in dress down. We only were going to do that for about 3 months to try to get people accustomed to coming to the meeting. So that's one of my big vision. My other vision is this generation gap between the young and the older people. We do have a generation gap. We got the baby boomers, we have the silent generation, and we have the millennials. We have people from all walks of life and from all years of life. And we have to somehow work together to try to get our gap closed a little bit more. We now do a lot of social media, and some things as elderly people, we don't like what they put on there. And some of the younger generation will put it on. But one thing I can say is we have to try to figure out how can we teach each other. We got to respond to them with empathy. We got to respond to them in a way. No, you know, people don't take you talking to them any kind of way. So you have to know how to talk to people. So what I did was I set up the Catch a Falling Star Academy. And that academy is supposed to get everybody who is new in a chapter or been reinstated in a chapter a mentor. We have past matrons that have done wonderful. All they need is to know that this person needs help. And that's what we are trying to do now, is mentor our new people and mentor our younger people, and trying to teach them that the values of what our herons have taught us, that, you know, you cannot do anything you want and expect for people not to come back and say, well, you know, if you can do it, I can do it. So let's mentor our people. That's another big one. But I do have quite a few other ones, but those two are my biggie. Because I want our people to have a guiding light to help them on this OES journey. Because when I first came in, I had a guiding light. Those past matrons and those elders in that chapter guided me in the right direction.
Thank you, Grandworthy Matron. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share or say with our sisters and brothers and our listening audience before we sign off?
Yes, I would like to say to all, don't seek any office without first asking God for his guidance. We need to realize that he knows so much better than we know ourselves. He does. He knows us. He formed us, and we are part of him. And if we seek God, then God will give us our direction. If God intends for you to have a position, you will have it. And he will be there for you. He will lift you to even higher heights and help you to embrace the religious principles needed to help you to succeed. I'm a prayer warrior now. You got to pray, believing that nothing is too hard for God. And I think sometimes he probably say, is that woman again coming asking me the same question again? Yes, it is me. But I do know nothing is too hard. And as a servant of God, we should always, and I love these three words, we should always be available, we should always be acceptable and accountable. Available, acceptable, accountable to God and to our membership. I thank you for this platform and this opportunity to speak to our sisters and brothers in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Grand Worthy Matron McGee, for taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share some light with our Prince Hall family and our friends about you, the order, and your vision for the order. And as we're moving forward and trying to proceed through this pandemic, as we know it hasn't been easy. It's a task every day. And we certainly understand that. And it was certainly an honor and a privilege just to have this time to talk with you and share with you. I wish you Godspeed and his abundant blessings as you continue on this journey. And to all of you who tuned in to this program with us today, we thank you for your support and, just taking a little bit of time out of your schedule and spend a little bit of that time with us today. I pray that you will stay safe along with your family or your friends, and that you are blessed and safe throughout the rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.
Sister Lisa Smith, I must say very much as a guest host here, you have done a wonderful job. And to our our grand worthy matron, Sister Mary McGee, thank you so much for your words. Thank you so much for the words on guidance and being a leader. And thank you so much for saying what you said about putting God first in our life, not only in becoming a leader if we want a position, but just everything that we do in life. We must put God first. We must ask him. Sometimes you got to ask God, is this the right route for me to travel as I go to visit so-and-so and so-and-so? Because sometimes he can keep us out of the way of going the wrong way. Thank you both so much for being here on Masonic Light Talk today. You have been truly a wonder and inspiration, and I have learned quite a bit today. Thank you again for gracing us with your presence. And Prince Hall family out there, thank you for tuning in and listening to this edition of Masonic Light Talk, featuring our guest host, past worthy matron, Sister Lisa Smith, and of course, our grand worthy matron, Sister Mary McGee. And I hope you have learned something today. And if you haven't learned anything, that's only because maybe you weren't listening. But for those of you who are not a part of the Masonic family, whether it be the Order of the Eastern Star or the Masonic family, remember, it's not hard to become one. All you have to do is find one and ask one. I'm your host, Past Master Rod Funderburk of Bivouac Lodge number 503. I can't wait to see you on the next edition of Masonic Light Talk. Until then, my brothers and sisters, please be safe and travel light.